So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and here we go! We are gonna get into our grand finals, and you can just feel the excitement right here, right now, with a very interesting matchup coming our way. Protoss and Protoss versus Terran and Terran. Seems like we are still gonna get TVP, and we may be able to talk it in that way. My name is Daks, and joining me for this co-cast today will be Raigeki. From a participant to a caster, it's time for the grand finals. What are you expecting here, Mr. Raigeki?
I expect extreme teamwork because Terran Protoss brought us. Expecting a lot of these from these players.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking for some really good matches right here, right now. And just before we start off, again, just quick little shout out to our sponsor one last time for today, ROG Internet Cafe. You can check them out at facebook.com/. Team ROG or at their official site rog.ph. Basically, though, they're an internet cafe, have been a mainstay here in different regions in the Metro Manila. Pretty good place to chill in. And hey, with all the community quarantine stuff going on, they also have a rent a PC program, so you can check that one out at their Facebook page. They've been around for a couple of years now, honestly, around like 10 or more actually, within the 2000s, the early 2000s plus, and they have really been looking to expand and make even more and more dreams and memes together with the gaming community. But it seems like though we are already gonna have our matchup set and done here, Raigeki. And we got these 5 maps for this upcoming best of 5. Efflorescence and Arctic Dream gonna get banned out. And it's Emerald City, Dusty Gorge, Rhoskallian, Heavy Artillery, and Divergence. Any maps in particular that interest you into this upcoming bout?
Well, based on the previous matches, actually Emerald City seems
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, Emerald City has given us some good macro games, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how this is all gonna unfold. First time we're gonna see Dusty Gorge and Divergence potentially. Dusty Gorge for sure, as is map number 2. And hey, at the very least, this map has been banned quite a lot, and I might will be able to see a different battle round right here, right now. But again, macro game on point here for Emerald City, and it's gonna be really interesting because the Protoss players will love to be able to play that macro as much as possible. They will love to stay away from their opponent as much as possible, and they should be good to go in just one wall to set up onto that main, move on to the natural, expand safely onto the side, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Terrans do so as well. In a big meaty grinder, what is the biggest deals here? In a 2v2 setup, who might be able to win? Who has the 400 army supply or what here, Raigeki?
Uh, well, let's see. I guess first one that actually counters whoever army is lineup is for example from the previous match uh Lilisks and what do you call this? Corruptors are just no match against double Terran mech. And as for this one, I think I am you know I hope that the Protoss can actually keep up with the teamwork of Terrans.
Yeah, we'll check how all of this is gonna unfold. And basically, though, there are gonna be a number of things to really notice, especially the fact we're gonna need those range units at the start for our Protoss players. I wouldn't be surprised if the Reaper Rush actually gets thrown on over immediately. It's gonna be really interesting to see how everything's gonna unfold. And something to also note might be those expansion times, because this is Protoss versus Terran, wherein sure you can go for the early macro expansion as per usual, even compared to other matchups, but there is still potentially the problem of getting cheesed by either the Protoss or the Terran. Proxies are going to be a pretty big deals in the first place. You can go for those Reapers expand, so you can set up with most of those racks. In the meantime, for the Protoss, you get one wall up, you get set up for the next. That really might be a stepping stone approach into that one. But hey, at least we get a more standard matchup, a more standard lineup here and now. And we are waiting on for now for our 2 Terran players to hop on in to our game.
For Protoss players, how do you think? How do you actually defend Mass Reapers?
Well, you need something quick. Like you need either the adept or the stalker as quick as can be. You also need to kind of play safe instead of going for the wall in. It doesn't really, you don't need to go for the wall in right now because you're playing against Terran, right? Which is usually ranged units at the very start. You can play the better positioning game with those buildings. Just make sure you have funnels to put things in the way of other things. Make sure you seal in those holes, especially where the mineral patches do have a little bit of a gap. And can we actually get the 2 teams swapped out here, Mr. Mizzle, just for the order of the overlay and the like. But yeah, I've said it multiple times, Protoss and Protoss together is susceptible to getting rushed, and if you don't get those counter units in time, you're just gonna get beaten up. There's no point for going Zealots, honestly, because they're very, very useless in a Terran matchup unless they do have that charge. And, well, you can go for the Stalkers, pretty safe. You can go for the Adepts, which is even better against light units, but they are not as good as any upcoming other harass, like the Hellions and the like. So we'll see how it's all gonna go. I wouldn't be surprised though if we get those proxy attacks between Siege Dwarf and Super Malls at the same time. Like, both of them. Going for the commitment, looking to get maps away from Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian, because they have shown already that they love playing the macro. They love hanging on back. And something else I also remember is Dead Trooper and Stacey Dwarf have faced off before in a quarantine setup. If I
Mm-hmm.
do say so. I think they played each other again, so these two teams should have familiarity with one another into this one. But hey, it seems like our game is ready to go. And we are going to get into map number 1, Emerald City. We're going to see who's a diamond in the rough into this one and who is going to be Fool's Gold. Match 1 out of 5, first to 3. Going to take our 1,000 peso prize pool. And it is going to be all or nothing right here, right now for our two teams. They have made it till the end. They have slogged through the hours that we have waited on and just basically seen the matches that have unfolded. And now it is finally time to get into the game. Terran and Terran, Protoss and Protoss. Who will actually take that victory? We will find out very soon. As our game number 1, our map number 1, Emerald City, just giving us a little bit more to wait on. But anyway, now it is time to get into the fun, into the fray, into the fights! And let's get into the map. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here we are! Into the grand finals we go. We are finally here after around 3 hours of broadcast, with most of that being the wait time. We are going to be looking to get into the action right here, right now, between our most decisive teams facing off against one another in macro and micro warfare. On the southeast side of Emerald City, gonna be introducing first on the red Protoss, it's Rhoskallian and his partner, Dead Trooper, on the yellow toss as well. And on the other side, here on the north and northwest sides of Emerald City, as we get a quick little pause. Seems like Stacey Dwarf always having internet issues because we are in Singapore. Control S. Control S is all you need to do, my friend. No worries about that. Be able to just put back that sound. It seems like there's always something to fix in the first place here for Stacey Dwarf, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully everything is a-okay. Again though, a little bit of a pause, giving me a little bit of time to work on the first place. 44 seconds in, you already see a few devices here and there, and I'm just interested to see what the plan is going to be here for our two Terran players. See, everyone ready to go? Okay, seems like this is Super Malls is there, and finally DT. Is Mr. Dead Trooper? Ooh, DT, Dark Templar Dead Trooper, makes sense. Is he okay? Okay, starting then, huh? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are back, ladies and gents, to our intro, and the pink Terran here of Sneezy Dwarf and his teammates, the blue Terran of Super Malls. So Raigeki, we've seen these players already show up. Who do you think is the biggest one to watch out for?
I think that the two Terran players are extremely capable of actually sweeping this match.
Potentially, especially Sneezy Dwarf and his macro play. It might be just a little too much to handle, especially if Dead Trooper and his antics kind of just blow up in his face. But we'll see though how this is all going to pan out into the near future, as we are going to get into another bout right here, right now in the grand finals of the SCPH dual meet. With Terrans already setting up those racks in the first place, 2 racks immediately here from Super Malls. It might be some early aggression actually with Twin Reapers right now. Steezy Dwarf though, where is he going to be setting up? Scouting on the round, looks to get some vision, and overall both sides just know exactly what the hell is going on into both sides of the game. Oh no, Super Malls! Super Malls! Oh, loses SCV. Oh. Unfortunate. But yeah, so scouting is really important. We have seen both sides use the information that they have gotten to the fullest effect, and even getting expansions right now for 2 of our players onto both sides. All about the setup, Cybernetic Core gonna be there. Here we go with the gateway as well. Counter Cyber Core also there. And more of these gateways right now seems like it is going to be a ground-based assault between our two Protoss players, and they are going to go for a 2-gate, 1-core setup, with the second gate a little later than the first one. Something to note though, they are building Zealots right now, which, as we said before, kind of useless in this regard unless they do find a way to catch up to those Reapers in the first place. You are going to need those Stalkers instead. They have Cybernetic Score already in the first place, and they have some gas so they can go for those range units at any point in time. But there you go, potential punish immediately by Stacey Barf. He's playing the Reaper, looking to force out the reaction. Twin Stalkers right now being built, and basically Stacey Barf getting all the information that he wants and more. Free pickings right here right now. Concussive Shell immediately being upgraded here by Super Malls, and it seems like it might really be just a 1 or 2 base all-in from many of these barracks units.
I think we're about to see a big bio play right here from the Terran team.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is super aggressive, honestly, from our Terran. When you get Concussive Shell in the 3-minute mark, oh, did he cancel that for a step back? So it's an early step back, actually. And this might be a little worse for wear, honestly. Like, if you go for early step back, you're very strong in the push. It's a glass cannon for sure, but without the starport, there is no sustain whatsoever. And there's the second tech lab to get the Concussive Shell. I don't like that he canceled that one. He didn't, even though step back takes a little longer, he already started on it. So precious seconds gone to waste in the first place. And he could have actually set up out on the outside to begin with. And speaking of the outside right now, Nexus is our Nexi, if you will, are set here onto the low ground. It seems like Emerald City is bustling with mineral activity.
I think the Protoss team might have a chance here at late game, but once Terran has set up their army here, I think that's gonna be it.
Yes, truly. It really is just maybe this Terran looking for a potential push into the first place. By this point in time, though, got a bunker set up onto the expansion. Very safe way to expand onto your second base, just in case. But against two Protoss players, I think one bunker is just not enough. It feels like it's still too little firepower, and that is what the siege tank is for. In the meantime, though, we are getting Blink Stalker. Warper's now going to be into play as well. And of course, Dead Trooper. If you look at his initials, DT goes for the DT. Dark Strike coming up by the 4.5-minute mark. Something done for Dead Trooper, I feel like he has to kind of learn to not use the Warp Prism in a way. So he can go for production right now, load some of these DTs in, and then do it again. Because what I've seen him do is he basically warps in the DT where the Warp Prism sets up, and that kind of makes his push not as potent as it could really be. At the same time, though, good expectations here from Supermall as well as Stacey Arc. They already have missile turrets set. They are going for a little bit of that bio anyway with the engineering bay. So might as well, right? Especially against Protoss, might as well set up and make sure the detection is on point.
Yeah, you know, sneaky Warp Prism.
We're gonna be able to keep attention to many things, but you know, Rhoskallian onto the high ground. I like the positioning here for the War Person there, but these Stalkers, they have to blink on away, expose their cores already. In the meantime, the Concussive Shell, pretty easily seen. If you get slowed, you are basically get taken down there. Here comes more and more of those medipacks though here for Super Moles, and Focus Fire gonna be into play. Good micro there to save that one with 1 HP and a Dream. At the same time though, where is the potential push from Dead Trooper? Seems like it didn't happen. Where is the Warp Prism? It's not even there anywhere. He has 1 DT out here on the left side apparently with a proxy pylon into play, but honestly, it won't really do much. Missile turret is there already. Has gotten a kill onto the Warp Prism, I believe. So, in the meantime, here comes more and more of that infantry. And even though this is a small force, I think it might be enough to put in the pressure onto these two bases. Okay, there we go. Finishing onto the Stalker. Warp cycle of DTs right now. And this is the perfect play right now. Using the TT for defense instead. Might force out the scan immediately. And can Supermos react into this one? He has to load these things in to get out of dodge and get on the way. He's punishing these Stalkers, but the DPS from the DTs is just a little too much to handle. And there you go, with the punish blink in to catch out the Medivac without a unit. That Marauder will get saved by the Bell. And Supermalls forgetting a little bit that there is invisibility here. Now we go with for the scan, and the DTs are quite soft. One of them will go down immediately, but overall, you know, still worthwhile trade there. Dead Trooper should be happy about the opportunity given to him by his opponents.
Good reaction by the Protoss there. Defended well.
The DT, he's like, okay, he's not gonna go for the scan. I know he does that in detection. And honestly, when you're playing against DT, you might want to whip out a Raven or two just in case. Very useful as well, but the anti-armor takes care of all the tankiness Stalkers and Immortals have in the first place. and they are just basically looking to go ham as much as possible. Here we go with the push again. To make it through. Shots keep on coming as well. Lift up with Sneezy Dwarf as he tries to expand and will get mitigated by the true Protoss army. This is honestly a very exciting game right now. It really goes to show the standard here in the grand finals. And kudos to our two finals bringing in the games that we deserve into this bracket. As Dead Trooper though coming onto the outside yet again. Here comes the SCP's pulled already. Sneezy Dwarf a little too ambitious what he does, and this is something that punishes Sneezy Dwarf in his play. He's a very macro-oriented player, and we have seen him expand all the way, and right now he just doesn't have enough of those forces to stay alive to go further.
They really need to destroy that proxy pylon.
Yeah, the thing is, just bring your reinforcements like crazy. Warp Prism and Proxy Pylon, two peas of butt as you have said so, but it's for the Protoss right now, looking a little more crystalline and glistening. Liberator so with the setup yet again with the defender mode, trying to keep things alive. Stalkers on the right hand side yet again, Marine's gonna be into the front line, and the pressure being applied here to the Terran. Here we go though with the pull, and it seems like Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper staying a little too long for basically the amount of time they've been given. Zald's still going to be brawling against these SCVs. Do we have charge? Yes, we do for Rhoskallian, but not for Sneezy Dwarf. And instead, it's going to be this close quarter combat beneath Zald's going to get burnt up by those Hellbats instead. And eventually, this push going to be stopped by the Terran army.
Oh, we see a mech transition right here.
It's time to potentially go into mech. Sneezy Dwarf is already on it. He has 4 factories on the board. And on the other hand, Supermall still with those 2 racks and will be looking to another expand to say the very least. We'll see though how long this is going to go and what else is going to be the plan here and now for both of our players. And more expansions here from Rhoskallian as well as Dead Trooper, even taking that very aggressive rich mineral field. But I feel worrisome here for Dead Trooper because he doesn't really have the army to defend against this upcoming attack.
I think the Protoss team are looking forward to a late game.
They are. They do want to go for the Colossus, and they will go for the external thermal lance. Very good decision here for Dead Trooper, but going for that third base right now, it might really get shut down here. Supermouse though, not going for it. He's gonna go instead to the base of Rhoskallian. We have shield barracks into play, and at the same time, it's gonna be a Zelt actually into the field. Stalkers though trying to get in position. Supermouse taking the front line. Liberator sets up yet again. And a tit for tat scenario, push and pull between our 2 mono factions. Blink out, stay alive, blink in, go for kills. But Marauder so cost efficient right now. So Siege Tank though might be the one who should be saved instead. But hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you can't really pick who you get. Just get whoever you can take. And overall, Super Moss right now going to be getting out of dodge it again. Seems like both sides really fending off any kind of attacks in the first place.
Yeah, but the Protoss defense is just pretty invincible right now, and you know what they say, the best defense is the best offense. So
yeah, you know, shield batteries are just so effective to say the very least. But hey, right here, right now, we do have our red Protoss for some reason staying by the debris but not breaking it. Thinking about it, maybe to bust him down. And anytime though, Zal drop again here from Rhoskallian is really being as pesky as can be, and he is just hurting Supermalls right now with basically 20 workers. To everyone else with a lot more. This is the blue Terran on 1 base only, and this is going to be a big factor right now in terms of that army count later on into the fights. Shots keeping on coming. Stalker's going to there for the blink in. In the meantime, Supermalls with everything else he still has to try and defend. Basically, this is a solid 1v2 for the time being. Huge drop again from Rhoskallian. Using the Warp Prism to such a good degree, avoiding those missile turrets as much as possible. In the meantime, though, Robo Base right now. Yes, sir. And it really is going to be time for the Robo Base to come up online. I wouldn't be surprised to see more and more of these Striders into play. Only 1 Colossus, though, here for Dead Trooper. I'd love to see him make a little more with that, with the Robo facilities, because he does have the supply and the money for it. I guess they're a little too busy. Look at that. Just hampering everything. Sneezy Dwarf going for the upgrades again to get the vision for, I believe, the bunkers as well as the planetary fortress. And at the same time, get that plating to make everything a lot more tanky. Missile turrets also affected by the range upgrade, and it will allow a little more coverage against Warp Prisms. But from how Rhoskallian has been playing, it seems like his micro is on point, and he is just saving everything he can and more to get the damage done. Anyway, action on all fronts. And here we go yet again with the push. We have many of these Protoss forces en masse into the front line. And looking to set up and go for the killing blow. Can Supermuscle come back up? He has 50 army right now compared to everyone else with almost at least 60 and above. But anyway, Sneezy Dwarf, not one to lie on. He's going for a potential attack. Sees the warp cycle though, will have to retreat immediately. There's no way he can face off against all of that all by his lonesome. And potent picks right there, and Sneezy Dwarf running out of money as well, which is really interesting because he's on so many bases right now and looking to keep up the best economy in this game.
Our Terran players are a lot less connected right now in this game.
Yeah, they do go for the expansion here, but they don't have third for Super Moles. He's just a little looking to come back in the first place, and hopefully he can actually get everything he needs. Interesting upgrade though here from Dead Trooper. He's going to go for the +1 shields before adding in the +2 either on the armor or on the weaponry, which you don't really see too often. In the meantime though, for Rhoskallian getting the +1 right now, and if they're waiting for a timing attack, they're going to have to wait a little longer than this. These upgrades will take quite a while here. For Rhoskallian should be around another minute perhaps, and the best thing they can do right now is break down this debris. Scans don't come already. Drops getting torn apart. And here we go with the push. Sneezy Dwarf looking to get in position, trying to catch out anything and everything coming their way. But these are big armies on both sides. Push coming to shove.
They still haven't got a Raven out though.
That's true. That's true. There's no Ravens, only DTs on the other side. Gonna have two of them. But there we go. The Colossi in behind, cooking everything up immediately. Immortals in the front line, tanking up the damage. Siege stacks though set up, and that is just extra DPS, forcing Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian to back on out to begin with. Anyway though, that's for Colossi 4, external thermal lass. Really getting some value here and there. Going for the cook, going for the melts, and forcing their retreat yet again. Push pull truly is the name of the game. Here we go though with the Zealots. Repair gonna be completely on point here from Super Moles. But by this point in time, everything is just getting split up. Attention and action on both fronts. On to the Blink Stalkers we go. They go for the aggressive push, and Dead Trooper might be punished here. Seems like though the action unfolding again with these stars onto the low ground. Still the Immortals getting the DPS on with the Stalkers trying to go for the push. Beautiful face disruptor shots right now, and Sneezy Dwarf losing everything he has and more. Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper coming up into this one, but at the same time, these are the Colossi going down, and apparently it's gonna be the slow little bit of a difference with the Marauders and the Marines coming on back instead, and the Immortals not going for the right targets. The Taurs are gonna be able to stay alive into this one. In behind though, here comes the Immortals yet again, and that is the cleanup we have been waiting for from the Protoss. And there you go, victory goes over to Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper in that clash, but the fight and the war is not over yet. Just target prioritization there from the Immortals. It seems like earlier on they were just able to get it, and then later on they figured things out. Planetary Fortress though, doing the damage that needs to be done against these lots in the first place. And by this point in time, we got some racks right now being built up yet again. More and more of these factories set up here. And yeah, Liberators right now from the Starport Orbital Command gonna be there as well. And even more and more upgrades right now from the Terran side. Surgical strikes are abound here. Seems like Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper are just always looking for opportunities. And they know that Sneezy Dwarf, he wants to be expanding. Something to note though for Sneezy Dwarf, he has that Planetary Fortress on his fort, which does mean that that is basically his front line there in a way. At the same time though, with the doors in behind the grass, it seems like the grass is greener on the other side where everything is door-less. And yeah, more and more bases now. Seems like our Protoss will take the southwest corner and look to just invade against the Pink Terran. Push coming there again. Zealots trying to go for this round. Anytime Sneezy Dwarf though might be playing with fire here. Sees the high ground advantage already for Dead Trooper. And overall, still Rhoskallian with the drops. Warp Prism right now, getting in position. It's just staying there in the shrubbery. Really sneaky play here from Rhoskallian. And with these lots running on around,
so annoying, man.
It really is. It's just unstoppable by this point, unless the Vikings go for the hunt, which this does entail building them in the first place, which hasn't happened here. I feel like the problem between Supermalls and Sneezy Dwarf right now is they're not really building any supporting units or really making sure that those drops don't happen. But who cares about supporting units when these doors can just pack the biggest punch, and everything Dead Trooper has been erased from existence.
I think the sentry wasn't fully utilized there. It could have the army could have survived.
Yeah, could have, should have used the force fields as well as the guardian shield, but it just didn't happen. And right now, unfolding into the most outer base here for Dead Trooper. Everything going down to the imposing might of Terran Macro. So many units right now. Here we go with Archons being warped in. High Templar here from Dead Trooper. Not using them for Storm. Doesn't really need to because these doors are just so tanky. Even though they can't take the maximum amount of damage, they don't really care. They can shrug it off to begin with. Here we go though with the Archons again, trying to go for the push. Will get torn apart at the seams. And overall, this is just basically looking really good here for our Terran players. They decide to invade with the biggest and bulkiest units. Dead Trooper though and his Dark Templar will be at by the scans. And that's what this is all about. Getting more expansions means more open commands. Who needs detection that is static or the Raven? When you can actually go for the scan instead. Another base goes down. Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian looking to be in quite a pinch. And we'll see if the Red Protoss can defend into their common front line.
Do you think this is the comeback that we've been waiting for for the Terran players?
Maybe, just maybe, they have gotten the macro that they've been looking for, but this has really been push-pull on both sides. Either side could have won this at any point in time. Both sides defending really well. And here we go again with the Brawl. Liberation zones are set there again though. And in the meantime, in terms of those upgrades, it's +2/+1. No GG's call. Rhoskallian says it's not going to be enough. And that's just too much to handle. That is the victory there to Sneezymarf and Super Malls. You know, +2/+1 there earlier on. The Protoss just not enough against the +3/+2 on the side of Sneezymarf. Those doors packing the best punch of them all. And they will take the first map of this set. Well played to Sneezymarf as well as Supermoss, especially Sneezymarf. His macro is something to really watch out for, and he was just absolutely on fire in so many ways.
Yeah, actually, the first part of the game, I think Super Malls was kind of struggling, and he was able to actually, support his teammate and see through to the end.
Yeah, it goes to show when you have that angle, you are going to be able to get so much done. And that is the first victory there for our two Terran players. Two more, and they take the crown here in Dual Meet. We'll see, though, how long we can still go as we are going to be getting into our second game. Dusty Gorge is going to be our battleground, and, well, into this map is going to be a little interesting to say the least. So in Dusty Gorge, I think the note is there is only one real pathway in the middle, if I remember correctly, and your ramps push you onto the outside, and those naturals are kind of onto the back end itself. And basically, with the main pathway, it is pretty clear where you go, but then there are rocks that you can destroy to open up a few flanks here and there. But overall, another pseudo macro-based setup, in a way. But the only problem with Dusty Gorge, it is a smaller map actually. It's a little like a rectangle in a sense, and with small maps come easier rush distances, so it really just makes sense why the map is positioned that way. And with ranged units, I think those ramps can really make a big difference. How about you, Raigeki? What do you think? Have you seen Dusty Gorge in action?
I think I've played a few games with Dusty Gorge, and I don't know. For me, it's just it's pretty complex for me since it's a small map, and there's only one pathway. Again, what you said that you're prone to rushes and everything, so it's just gonna be up to you if you are able to defend that. Uh,
Yeah, and I feel like with our Terran players, they can actually really whip out that Reaper Rush again. Like, if in a map like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to go for those proxy rafts. They would really surprise Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper from wherever they set up. And we'll just take a quick little short break and wait for our players to come on in. We'll be right back. This is the grand finals of the SCPH Dual Meet. So welcome back, guys. Seems like our players took a little bit of a break, and now we are set and done to get into our next game. Dusty Gorge is going to be our background, and we are going to get into map number 2. Rhoskallian's Dead Trooper, though, down by 1 as Sneezy Dwarf and Supermalls taking a pretty decisive victory there with their mech composition. It feels like, though, that even though Rhoskallian's Dead Troopers did the right things at the right times, they kind of got stuck into the Colossus deck in a way, and it kind of just blew up in their face when they had to deal with tougher opponents, need more immortals instead. They traded the immortals earlier on and didn't really rebuild them to the best degree. And eventually, with the superior micro and the macro there, actually from Sneezy Dwarf, he was just able to really run in with those tours to begin with. How about you, Raigeki? What do you think could have been done better there in that
Yeah,
game?
I think the Protoss team would have could have taken the game only if they actually committed to what they were initially doing, as well as the priority in the army composition.
That's true, that's true. And I wouldn't be honestly surprised if we get something a little different into this next game. So we were talking about it earlier on, Dusty Gorge is a smaller map. And well, where these smaller maps do, they're usually high ground. But you know who can get to high ground here, Mr. Raigeki? It's those Reapers. And we have seen it before, we have seen its success, and we might see it right here, right now. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Supermouse and Sneezy do go for it. I think it's going to be a really good thing to do, especially with the one map advantage. And if you can win the game decisively against a macro heavy opponent, might as well do it with style. But now it's time to get into the action. Let's get into our second map of this best of 5. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are on the Dusty Gorge, our first time here, and we'll see if it's gonna be a fun time right here, right now. Introducing first, on the eastern side of Dusty Gorge, it is gonna be our blue Terran of Supermalls, and his teammate on the southeast side, Sneezy Dwarf. Look at this ramp already, look at how open it is, and this is just gonna be a pretty sight to see. So you have the double ramp to get onto the backside, you have the ramps in the front, you have to basically wall for yourselves, and Dead Trooper infiltrating with this Protoss probe. I'll be interested to see what that does into the future. Because introducing on the west side of Dusty Gorge, it's the red Protoss rather of Rhoskallian, and the yellow Protoss of Dead Trooper. This map is a lot of cheese potential. Raigeki, what you think?
You know, I think the Protoss should be ready to anticipate the Reaper rush here.
Yeah, if it happens, but oh, Rhoskallian. He's gonna be whipping out that proxy pylon instead onto the south side, and I won't be surprised if this is proxy Stargate looking at the distance of this map. I think Dead Trooper earlier on, oh my god, he's still there! He's still there! And this is gonna be a Chekhov's gun, guys. This is something that will explode very soon, and I won't be surprised if there's a pylon here, or maybe even cannons, or something like that, something in between. Now, cannon rushing a Terran, though, is really the best because the buildings can fly, but hey, it's still pretty fun to do in the first place. Reaper, though, coming online for Sneezy Dwarf, and there we go, potentially the Reaper Rush coming our way with a proxy rack set up by our pink Terran.
It's just as you forecasted there, Dax. We're gonna see another part 2 of that amazing Reaper rush from the previous games.
Yeah, do we get our double racks though? Yes, we do. So Supermall is going to be looking into that one. And I like how they're basically playing this in a way. Now, their Reaper Rush isn't going to be as quick as it really is. It more is a mass Reaper setup over a complete... Surprise, there's a single Reaper already there. And it is more decisive in this way. So they kind of baited that they're playing standard with the 2 supply depots, 1 barracks wall, and then they go for a second racks. For Sneezy Dwarf's case, he has it onto the outside. For Supermalls, he's the one more onto the macro focus and will be bringing in the more firepower. But the good reaction here from Rhoskallian, Chrono boosting out a Stalker is the best thing to really do right now. It's quite tanky, it will be able to stem the tide. Sneezy Dwarf looking to send things over, and Supermalls loses the Ripper already. Seems like it's a little sloppy this time. Less coordination without the bunch up on, and this is one Stalker really stopping everything already. Still, the Reaper Rush hasn't failed, I believe, even though the second Reaper will go down. If they go en masse again with these jetpack units, it might do a little better. And bringing these units in one at a time is not a worthwhile trade. Sure, you can get rid of the Stalker, but the shield battery with the save, and this is just basically done. This is good night to this Reaper opening. And look at this, Proxy Stargate with the Arco. Did you see that? 2 HP, survives.
Great timing.
He's really buying time there. And the biggest take, honestly, from our Terran players is they didn't bring them together. Going one at a time, you're just basically funneling yourself to your death and you're staggering in essence. And speaking of essence right now, here comes the Oracle. There is no anti-air whatsoever, and it's time for the Pulsar Beam to get those kills. Give me a 1, give me a 2, give me a 3 actually, make that 4, maybe even a 5, add up a 6 perhaps, even trying to get that 7. That's pretty big. That's a good attack already with this Proxy Oracle at Stargate. Getting some value there, unfortunately, there's just not enough energy. That's pretty much what it all does in the first place. Kinda should have been pumping out the second Oracle earlier on, but it is what it is. Forces the retreat. And Stacey Dwarf is crippled. He can't do anything. He has to stay by his teammate's base. Look at this. This is so decisive. So, oh my god, actually, it's gonna turn into basers here, Raigeki. Because Death Trooper is not ready for this. He has so many gateways, but there is nothing. There is nothing to produce. He can go for mass entries right now, though, to try and stem the tide. He can also go for some deaths to hold. But at the same time, Sneezy Dwarf right now really still struggling to keep things up on his economy side. What a decisive hit there from the Oracle. Here we go right now, though. Rhoskallian and Death Trooper going for the brawl. Still, these Reapers right now packing quite a big punch. Good burst from many of them. Photon cannons set up immediately. Both sides crippling each other to a good degree. But I feel like though for Sneezy Dwarf, he's still getting nothing done in the other side. And this is all they have right now onto the Terran side. Just hurting the Protoss, sure. But the Terran is the one really crippled in this regard. And with the Stalkers right now into check, these Reapers have to get on away again. Rhoskallian just even go for the Orbit Command for some reason. What a shutdown onto one player already. And yeah, decisive action must be taken by Sneezy Dwarf and Super Balls if they want to take this victory.
Yeah, the Oracle play was nice, but then, you kind of need a follow through just for it to be more effective, I think.
Yeah, so interesting, again, Sneezy Dwarf will go for the shield batter to make sure nothing can get healed up, and now it's time to go for more and more of that action. Dead Trooper trying to go for the save, and it's gonna be another Stalker going down. These Reapers getting micro to fruition, and the worst part here is I believe that for Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper, they're staying onto these Stalkers a little too long. If they're able to bunch up a little more, maybe get a sentry or two, maybe get a few more adepts, it might help out in the long run, because that'll be some really good damage there. But in the meantime, there we go with the Oracles instead. We have a single Viking though from Super Malls, and it seems like the action just spilling over onto both sides. Something really to be interesting about 2v2 is if your teammate is getting crippled by one thing, you can build a counter to it and kind of save him, which doesn't happen in 1v1. So there we go with the shutdown. Here we go in the missile turrets. And finally, it's time for just a little more. But Dead Trooper, we said this was a Chekhov's gun. And there we go, it's gonna get popped. The proxy pylon in position. Zell's gonna get warped on it to get the damage done. In the meantime, Sneezy Dwarf looking around. Does he see the pylon? He sees the warp in there. And there we go with the shutdown already, finally. That is just gonna be a little too ambitious from Dead Trooper. If he just stayed a little longer there, he would have been able to keep that pylon up and set. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Still, though, crippling blows right here, right now, forcing the second command center to fly on away. Action all fronts it again. Rhoskallian taking care of business into the front line. And these Oracles getting a little bit more of energy, waiting for something else to happen. Sneezy Dwarf, though, with the micro, able to get away from those Reapers. And these Stalkers cannot warp in whatsoever. But here comes the Oracles yet again. Pulsar beams now are set, going for damage. Combat drugs might be able to keep them alive if they're able to run away in time. And what are these Stalkers doing? Dancing at all? No Blink Stalker as of yet here in the moment. And eventually, it seems like the defense able to pan out just a little more for the Terran players.
This is a very action-packed game. I like this.
It really goes to show that it is just all about damage. It is all about fights. And right here, right now, the Voider are going to be in position again. Oracles, though, trying to get into the front line. Here we go with the Stalkers, though, looking to help things out. Marines trying to get the damage done even more so. But that is going to be one Oracle going down into the first place. These Reapers right now trying to stay alive. Zealot's going to get warped on in yet again. And this might be a little too much for Super Malls and Sneezy Dwarf to handle, because in behind all of this, Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper are doing whatever the hell they want and more. Pressure being applied onto these Terran players that have to play so far back into their own concaves. And honestly, this is looking really, really dicey for both Sneezy Dwarf and Super Balls, as Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper are trying to tie things up. And there we go, GG is called. Dusty Gorge blowing up in favor of the Protoss race instead, thus settling over for Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper to take this victory.
I think the Protoss team learned their lesson here, and they were able to correct the previous mistake from the last match.
Yeah, it was really, really effective and well played indeed by our Protoss players. They did so much work, honestly, going for the counter. It is very, very effective to say the least, and absolute kudos to them for tying things up and bringing things back now to 1-1. So we have a match, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually going to get a proper setup, and we are going to see these two great teams face off against one another in pitch combat truly. It seems like compared to the rest, they are truly the best, and something to also note is they have the experience of playing this game. And our next map right now will be Rhoskallian next, but let's look at those results real quick. Emerald City did go in favor of the two Terrans, but now, Dusty Gorge. Apparently aggression more in favor of the two Protosses. And they will take the dust and the wind and be able to take that one down. So Rhoskallian next on the list. And Macro might be another game here. But we've seen before from Emerald City, apparently it's a Terran. There's a little bit more of the advantage, especially for Sneezy Dwarf. Can he actually out-macro his opponents? Can he actually bring the bigger army while Supermoles does the distraction? Or will it be finally time for the two Protosses to go for their sneaky antics and get things going in the first place? It could be really interesting to see, and we will take a short break. We'll be right back as soon as the game is ready and set. So yeah, we are going to get into our next bout right here, right now, ladies and gents. Sorry about that audio issue right there, right then, guys. And we are going to be back into game number 3. So don't worry about that. It is what it is sometimes. And we are just going to bring you guys the action as much as possible. As right here, right now, we are on Rhoskallian to be our matchup here. Here on the southeast side of this map, it's the blue Terran Superballs, as well as the pink Terran that is Sneezy Dwarf, and their opponents. On the other side, it is the red Protoss of Rhoskallian and the yellow Protoss of Dead Trooper. So we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Again, audio issues abound, and we are gonna get into our next fight right here, right now on Rhoskallian LE. And it seems like immediately we see the production from both sides, and you can see how in tune they are truly to the game. They understand what the hell they're doing, and they understand how to play things out. Double Simulator, though, already from Death Trooper, gonna be a gas-heavy build coming into this one. In the meantime, though, it seems like the main wall actually, being set up by Supermos as well as Sneezy Dwarf, and we'll see if these Raxes are gonna be pretty effective into this upcoming bout.
How about you, Dax? How would you play in this map? What would
Macro. You basically tell your teammate, where we want them, bro, and you pick one of the two, and you set up accordingly. I honestly would like to see more wolves onto the second ramp, especially pretend against third. But against Terran, I think this is a lot safer to roll out the main ramp instead. Make sure everything is fine in that regard. But in 2v2 matches and 2v2 maps, you do realize that there are many more Reaper slots than usual compared to like 1v1s. There, it feels more old school where the Reaper can go anywhere the hell it wants and more. Like in 2v2, Reaper feels like it's more effective for some reason because of the fact of how these maps are geometrically assigned. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents about it. And well, when you have to deal with the Reaper in many regards, then you have to have the proper units, and if you don't have these range units for the Protoss, then that is where it kind of falls apart, right?
It's like the cliffs are just, designed specifically for the Reapers.
I mean, it feels like it's always been that way. But hey, we are basically going to be on a Sky Station yet again. Nexus Point going to be up and about here for Rhoskallian, and in the meantime, twin expansions here for Sneezy Dwarf and Supermos. A little greedy, honestly. So when I see a 2v2, when one expands and the other doesn't, basically one's on defense, one's on economy. But when both decide to go for the expand at the same time, they're kind of asking for trouble if it is scouted by their opponents, because that means they will have similar army counts, and if the other side decides to go for a kind of aggressive play or basically an all-in, they might be caught with their pants down. Anyway though, seems like a robo facility in order here for Rhoskallian. 3 gates, 1 robo, pretty standard stuff right here right now for our red Protoss. So wouldn't be surprised if he does go for the War Prism as well as the double immortal drop to play it super standard right here right now. On the other side though, Raxus in production, factories are set. Here we go again though with the 111 from Supermalls, and on the other side, the Sneezy Dwarf staying on 2 base and looking to build a bunker alongside his teammate. Reaper though, this is what we're talking about. The Reaper can go anywhere the hell it wants and more, even here on the eastern side through the vents, able to hide, hop, skip, jump, be safe and sound. Dead Trooper. He's doing it again here, Raigeki. This time it's low, closer to danger zone, but hey, it works. It works, and the probe still isn't spotted whatsoever. We got 1 Zealot warping in, which I don't agree with because this thing doesn't have upgrades, and well, you're kind of exposing your hand a little early here, Dead Trooper. There we go with the Zealot exposed already, gets into the middle line there, and Sneezy Dwarf's like, what? Where did this come from? How is this here? What the hell? Where is the proxy? Where is the proxy?
He could have waited a lot longer though.
Yeah.
It's a waste.
Yeah, it's kind of okay. I would love the Dead Trooper to actually have something more valuable there. If he's gonna use that small little part, that small little hole there, that small little corner, I would say that do something a little more decisive. I like the Moxie, and it kind of works out in a way. But as soon as I believe the refine, oh, he's already seen. He's already seen. He's already okay. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Sneezy Dwarf is not reacting to this with a pylon and a probe in his own base, but we take those, and now 2 bases up and running for both of our players. Immortals coming on up, and it feels more normal here for Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian. They go into these immortal compositions that are basically the backbone of any Protoss player, and a pretty early rollbay here from Dead Trooper, and he's assuming basically he's gonna be facing off against Bio perhaps, but the transition point is still available here for both Supermalls as well as Sneezy Dwarf.
They're still not doing anything about that pylon though.
Yeah. Come on guys. You know, the pylon, I know it's shiny, I know it's nice, but you kinda wanna do something about it unless you want a face full of hurt later on. But for the time being, interesting enough, neither side is taking a third base. They're both still staying on second, looking to just add more and more, perhaps, of those workers. And in the meantime, Stimpak coming online here for Super Malls. We do have the racks set already, so Super Malls will go for the bio. These Dwarf though in the meantime, going heavy on the mech. And this is gonna be pretty interesting to say the least with this Robo base set up. I feel like one good upgrade to actually get would be that 4% movement speed, if ever. And oh my god, this is old school stuff. Void Ray +1, where's the Fleet Beacon and the Flux Veins to really give them the potency that they deserve. So here on Rhoskallian, these Selnaga towers on the high ground, which is really interesting because it's basically a nook that you can take advantage of. Eventually though, finally, this is a siege tank blowing up that pylon to begin with, and congratulations that one getting the takedown there. Stargates right now being built even more. Void Race, a pretty good supporting unit right now to get some extra DPS on. But really depends on what kind of comp you're facing off, and if there's too much anti-air anyway, well, these Void Race are gonna get shot at the sky regardless.
We got a kind of a slow-paced game here, but then I like how the build-up is, accumulating their armies.
And we just like fast forward 10 minutes into the future, be like, ah, oh, here we go, 200 times 4, big armies, even bringing in those workers, make it the ultra spicy kind of deal. Third base though coming up and running, and well, as we said from Rhoskallian, it seems like macro is the way to go, and it is just what is happening right now into a setup like this. So, Raigeki, for you, when do you feel it's best to macro as a player?
Good question. Well, personally, I'm not really that good at macroing yet. I'm still kind of learning the ropes, but my opinion, I think, especially for these kinds of games, you take advantage of the slow pace that is happening, and you go for a little harass just to, as well as scout information, and then you try to assess the strength of the army of the opponent.
Yeah, it seems like they just assess that neither side is gonna do nothing, even with the pylon there. Here we go, Dead Trooper now. He's gonna go for another pylon, but this time will be met by Sneezy Dwarf, who decides to just run past it and not really care. Dead Trooper in the meantime, though, more and more of these pylons set up everywhere. It seems like he's really coming into this one. Doesn't want to bring a Warp Prism, which I feel like is the better option, honestly. When you have the Warp Prism, it means that your warps are a lot quicker than these pylons that are just at the middle of bumfuck nowhere, basically. And at the same time, we are getting more Void Rays here. From Rhoskallian, does he have Flux Veins? No, he doesn't as of yet. He has the Fleet Beacon though. And we'll see if this overcharge right now will bring in the punishment that they need. Guard Shield to mitigate some damage as well. That door getting torn apart pretty quickly. And Rhoskallian is bringing in a little bit of Wings of Liberty style here. Void Rays is just an OP unit, says the man all the way back in 2011. And when you don't even want the micro, you just basically press A, left click, and let those laser beams fly. Drop late low in the spot. Supermalls taking care of the expansion there. But this is a big Protoss Deathball right now, having so much eradication in their favor. Everything getting torn apart at the seams. The Void is all fully charged up already, tearing everything apart as much as possible. Might be a base race scenario here and now. +1 shields for some reason again. And in this juniors bracket, all I have to say is I don't understand why people keep getting +1 shields, but it is what it is, and we take those as much as possible. That Trooper they're running on, and missile turrets going for the Colossi, and it is now time for it to get torn apart yet again. Potential base race scenario, but that is what the Colossus is for, burning everything up. And Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian pushing on forward yet again. But oh my god, everything getting torn apart by those doors. They just get in position, and this attack. Whoa my god, this attack just getting stopped immediately in its tracks. Why? Because those units going way too far off when they weren't ready yet, and there is just no stopping the might of those mechs.
We're gonna see another mass for victory here, I think.
Yeah, it feels like it's the first game when the Protoss has the advantage, but they kind of overextend. Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian decided to go all the way in, and like they just kind of give it up. Highly unfortunate, honestly. They could have shut down that natural. They could have shut down everything except that main base. And in the end, it just blows up in front of them. So, shades of deja vu there. Good attack as well with the drop. And right here, right now, we are going to get +2. It seems like for Void Rays, though, they're the most efficient unit, actually, to basically get that +1 upgrade.
Yeah, again, they kind of laid back with the follow through. Like what you mentioned the first game.
It really goes to show that's how it does just go sometimes. But now we're gonna see a little bit of a swap here. We got some carriers looking to arrive and looking to get things done along the way. In the meantime, though, more and more of these Colossi moving on out. And hey, bigger army right now, trying to get push on. Look to get on through to the other side as quick as can be. Still,
Do they
more and more of
stand
these
a chance with
suffers.
the Thors though?
Maybe, just maybe. It might be the view void race there helping out, and the carriers having those interceptors, but this is a very scary army actually. And there we go with liberation zones already. The Colossi getting torn apart from tip to toe. And those small little Strider legs just getting dented over and bent back immediately. The Mortals trying to back in the punch, but again, there's just not too many of them at all. And these Thors surviving for the time being. There comes the Void Race. It's still not going to be enough because the effective range of those Thors is a little too much to handle. And in instances like this, you just want to go for those Tempest instead of the Carrier, bring in some more damage against these massive units, but it's not going to happen. And as we said, shades of the first game.
He even attempted to warp in DTs right there.
Yeah, and just gets met by a scan. It's not gonna happen whatsoever. No survival, no way to get on out. And hey, this match really going the long haul as much as possible. 12 minutes in, it's time for the punish right now. Super Maul sets up to try and break everything down immediately. Hellbats bringing in the plane. Here we come with some Tours. And this is just basically that Thunder looking to zap on to any of those who don't believe. Goodbye. Goodbye to everything that decides to go into the face of the Thors. And what makes the Thors such a strong unit overall?
Oh, the DT brought down one Thor though.
Yeah, I mean, it's Shrine, and this one has 18 HP. Might need a few drops here now with the mules, but reinforcements haven't arrived, and guess what? We got some more mules, we got some more Tors rather, we got some more Liberators, and this might be enough to just handle everything along the way. Now that Trooper in still has a good income for the time being, but how long will that stand? Never mind though, that's gonna be GG. No call there. They just say, nah, we're done with this one. Super Moles and Steve's Dwarf now taking the advantage, and is one map away from being the champion. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, another map done and dusted. And well, victory. Gonna go to our Terran players. We truly have a match right here, right now, ladies and gents. And it just goes to show that all the action can spill on over to such a decisive macro game. Rhoskallian going in favor of the two Terran players, the same way they won in Emerald City. And well, Raigeki, what can you say about that one?
Yeah, it's just a repeat of the first game, and they could have done better actually. Probably for this game, they just lacked a little bit of conviction.
Yeah, and I feel like also just the overextension really hurting them in the long run. Same case, same thing that hurt them in the first game. And now we are going to go into another macro heavy map. Heavy Artillery Alley. The mineral patch going to be in the way. And now it is time to get into our fourth and potentially final game if the Terran players do win it. If not, though, we will see the debut of Divergence onto map number 5, which is going to be really, really interesting to see. But what do you think can the Protoss play into to get a little better and more of that conviction that you're looking for?
Good question. I think that they could have just, I guess, like what you mentioned, they keep overextending, and then at the same time, it just fires back at them. It pays to be a little cautious when it comes to, attacking. For me, it's just the big Protoss army is just wasted by what, like 3 or 4 swords, and that's just really wasteful, waste of opportunity.
Yeah, it's really just a high ground with those stores. Come on, it's like you don't need to send those units in like that. You don't need to do anything a little too much to handle, especially with the Colossi facing off against what Thors. This is not the work. Have you seen how bulky Thors are compared to the flimsiness of the Colossus? It feels like if you push it over, it will just fall down.
Yeah, they bit more than they chew. Oh yeah.
And kind of again another thing to note is they had the tech to actually play the Tempest, and yeah, it just didn't happen. I feel like Tempest are just such a good unit in such a regard like that, because if Sneezy Dwarf just lets himself get the 200 ball that he's always looking for, then he is basically on Thor and Thor only, right? He's relying on his teammate to complement his units, and if Liberators are looking down below, then what will stop the Tempest? Nothing. Kinda a missed opportunity, if I do say so myself, that Dead Trooper and Roxilius could have taken into that game, but hey, it is what it is, and the real question is, what is going to be the plan right now for our two Protoss players to try and get the comeback and force a map number 5?
Yeah, and as well as the rage advantage of the Thors, they could have done something about that. Like we mentioned, Tempest could have taken care of that.
Yeah, and one behind, go Dark Shrine. Whenever, whatever, pick the Dark Shrine as much as you want. That's what I gotta say. But something else, Dead Trooper does go for it anyway, so he already follows that creed to a full degree. For now, though, we are just waiting on for Sneezy to actually hop in again. But hey, I think, yeah, the map's correct. We got our sides correct. We got our Protosses there. We got our racer correct. So just only need Sneezy Dwarf, and we should be good to go for our next setup. It's been an interesting time today, and we are still gonna have a set tomorrow, ladies and gents. We still have the SCPH Dual Meet Seniors bracket, which is gonna be a lot more exciting with the higher tier players facing off. If I remember correctly, there are gonna be 9 teams into that one, and I can't wait to see all the action that will bring to the table. But it has been a pretty significant bracket so far. The last of our results so far into our sets have been Chick Boys taking down Sugar Bears in round number 1, which Mr. Raigeki here can attest to. And then onto the other matches there, Leaders Council winning out against Potato Chiefs in an apparent 2v1, just kind of hurt them there. Happy and Hempest, the longest game ever that we had to all wait on because it was just a mid-game while we were ending everything else. A 2-1 victory there, and then Lethality taking care of the Feeling Arrow Frogs 2-1. Semifinals, Leaders Council taking down Chick Boys there 2-0. Lethality, a pretty decisive victory against Happy 2-0 as well, when the cards were still on the line and no surrenders were being given. And now it is the two Terrans with the advantage. It seems like though we are ready to go into map number 4. It's finally time to get into the action. And as we've seen before, Heavy Artillery LE, there is going to be a lot of thunder and lightning from many of these sides. And who will be our winners here? If Super Multicity do our take it, they are going to be our grand champions here in the dual meet. If not though, Dead Trooper and Roxilius will be able to force one more map. We'll see how all of this is going to pan out, and we'll see who is going to be taking this crown here. It's time now to go into match points. Can the Terrans do it? Can they do it in style? And can they do something a little different? If I remember correctly, we saw the Reaper Rush here as well. And maybe, just maybe, it's gonna be the same kind of thing. It's time to get into map number 4, ladies and gents. And it's time to get into the game. 2-1 advantage. Can they do it? We'll find out. Let's go into the background. So here we are. Map number 4. Match points for the Terran race. But Heavy Artillery might be invaded here and now by our Protoss players and go for one last ride into our map number 5. We'll see though how this is all going to unfold as we start things off with some introductions. Here on the south side of Heavy Artillery, we got the red Protoss of Rhoskallian and his partner on the southwest. It's the yellow Protoss of Dead Trooper. And his opponents right here, right now, on the north side of Heavy Artillery, it's the blue Terran of Super Moles, and his partner, the Macro Man himself, the pink Terran of Sneezy Dwarf. So right now, Mr. Raigeki, who is your MVP for the whole tournament? Just one guy, just one guy.
Super Malls, definitely.
Super Moles, you think his what does Super Moles do for him that gets you to give him the that's my MVP right there award?
Oh wait, I'm confused with the color. Sorry. I think Sneezy is my MVP right here.
Okay,
I think his macro is just a little bit more better than Super Malls, and as well as even though Super Malls was in a pinch earlier, and then he was able to actually support him still, and they both recovered and they took the game.
Are you talking about map number 2? It was Sneezy Dwarf was in pitch and Super Mouse helped him.
Was it?
Yeah,
I'm
but he was
sorry.
the one who led the Reaper on the other side, so So
My
kind
bad,
of,
my bad.
it's okay. But I do agree with the fact that Sneezy Dwarf is above and beyond everyone on the macro. Like, he is number one here in the macro, and I think for their team, it's a dynamic also. So for Super Malls, he's making sure that he covers whatever the hell Sneezy Dwarf is A moving to victory, and for Sneezy Dwarf, he's making sure he has enough to do the A move to victory kind of dance. So two pieces of thought, but yeah, in terms of macro, it is very, very obvious how much impact Sneezy Dwarf has done for his team and for the tournaments, and he is just so above and beyond everyone else into this tournament. So big kudos to them to begin with. Anyway, though, so we are going to see already Sneezy Dwarf taking the safe expansion. Super Mall is on the more aggressive stance, and yeah, it just really fits their characters here, Raigeki. Really goes to show that there is just specific things that each of these players do, and even though their builds are attuned to one another, they make sure they keep the variance here and there. Reaper right now will get into position, and Sneezy Dwarf forcing a really exaggerated draw there, honestly. Those probes are not mining whatsoever, and job done already. This is a big mining time already being wasted by the two Reapers.
Good job luring the other soccer
Yeah,
away
it's
from
just
the pros.
yeah, it's just like, hey, what are we doing here? Why is no one working? Get back to work, get back into the line, and basically see how everything unfolds into the future. For now, though, more and more of that expansion set up. 1-1-1 already here from Super Malls, and in the meantime, only one racks actually, and two factories. Mech base again here for Super Malls. For Sneezy Dwarf rather. Man, you made me get the names confused too. But basically for Sneezy Dwarf, really is the Thor is his signature hero, his signature units into this set. And yeah, what else can the Protoss really do in this regard?
You know, they've had how many games by now? 4 games, and you know, they both know each other's weaknesses. You know, they already assessed how good their opponent is, and I think they should just learn from their mistakes from the previous games and just apply whatever it is that they need to do. More follow throughs. Do not overextend. Just play safe, but a little bit aggressive.
That's true. That's true. And it really just goes to show that, as we've seen, the dynamic there. And we already also see the same thing from Dead Trooper Vexilius to a degree. It seems like for Vexilius, he's very micro heavy in a way. He's going for those drops. He's going for those plays out of nowhere. And with the War Prism, he's been able to do a lot of damage all throughout. Dead Trooper, in the meantime, he likes to go for the higher tiers of tech. And it kind of is surprising sometimes, but it's just not working against Sneezy Dwarf and Super Malls. And everything going in favor of Terran so far, but we see a Marchot with a multiple amount of Immortals, and I like this here because this is a very, very aggressive Stalker Immortal all-in a sense. They are really sending in everything they have. They are both staying on one base, and if this doesn't work, this is just going to be potentially GG for the two Protoss players. Here comes the push. Lock on getting rid of one Immortal, and every Immortal that dies is absolutely huge, honestly. For Exilius and Dead Trooper, losing an Immortal means losing a single limb. Forcing the retreat though, onto Super Malls and his base. And that is going to be Orbital Command floating on over to the other side of the ramp already. To the high ground we go. Super Malls still going for a low peak, bit of a peak here and there. Dead Trooper with more and more of these probes right now, looking to set up a proxy pylon or two. But with only one base of economy, the real question is, will there be any significant reinforcements compared to what the Terran has? Well, at least for Super Malls, he is stuck on one base right now compared to the two Protoss players. That is exactly what Super Exilius and Dead Trooper want, but you can't leave alone Sneezy Dwarf. He's on that 2 base, he has the safe expansion in behind, and he's making sure he's looking to get that micro on. Icon, very, very important. More siege tanks are a must. Here we go with one Thor as well to try and go for a little bit of that tank into the front lines. And one big pickup has to be this War Prism. If they can shut this down, they may be able to get some value there. Anti-armor, the baby play Gale Force to go in response. And even though the anti-armor is on point, it really just goes to show the DPS isn't there because of a beautiful force field set up by the sentry. But as I say that, the overextension again happens! And the Immortal gonna go down. The second one will fall in one fell swoop as well. 1 HP and a Dream. Anti-armor now connecting into the Immortals yet again. And these siege tanks just in position to blow everything up. The Kingdom Come.
Yeah, one little screw up can take this whole tournament away from the Protoss team.
and it seems like it really is hurting them. Now they are gonna go for the expansion. They feel like that was enough damage, but overall, with Sneezy Dwarf still keeping up his lead in terms of the economy, he's on 52 workers right now compared to what? 32 for Rhoskallian, 33 for Supermalls, and a measly 14 for Dead Trooper. This is gonna be a really, really slow push here, or a slow reinforcement cycle for Dead Trooper, especially if the Supermalls and Sneezy Dwarf decide to actually go on the outside. Yeah, that's it. Dead Trooper is kind of playing with the bank here. He has two of these pylons. Beautiful lock on though. Gets his head shot down the Warp Prism. And that's another decisive hit. Every single time something big dies, that is just one more noose really lined up for both Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper. Immortals, each time one dies, that has to hurt. Each one a Warp Prism dies, it has to hurt. Each time a Stalker dies, it has to hurt. And you can really feel the pain right now. Goodbye to the Warp Cycle. Goodbye to the Pylons. And hello to the push. Supermalls and Steeds who are looking to run away with it and more. And now it's time for them to go on the offensive. I just want to commend them. Honestly, and seeing from the 2v2s we've seen today, this is the part where the team will decide to just stop completely and decide to not push the advantage either through macro or micro. Like, sure, it seems like macro is going to be focused here for Sneezy Dwarf. Again, he wants to do the same old thing, which will allow Dead Trooper and Rhoskallian to catch up a little bit. But if the macro is still on point for Sneezy Dwarf anyway, then he'll be able to keep on ahead, snowball his way to victory. And something else to note, I believe that's going to be Benefax right now. Supermalls is something he's been able to do as well. Go for these drops, something that is a little different to his teammate. So flying on around, moves on over here to the west side. At the same time though, a push courtesy of Sneezy Dwarf coming in through the middle. Will get spotted, I believe so, by the pylon. Cyclones is Hellions. Looking for a little more damage there. Rifle shots and the rockets. Gonna be a ban apparently. There you go with the flamethrower tossed again. And by this point in time, Rhoskallian is going for the extended thermal lance, but this is not the time to do this. You don't go for Colossus against these armored units, that's for sure. They're way too tanky. You want to go for the Disruptor instead if you really want to do something like that. Warriors are good support units, but beyond all of that, you know, Force Fields, you get some really good Blink Stalker, and of course, you can't go wrong with the best unit in the game for the Protoss, basically the Immortal. But this is just a pressure being applied. Dead Trooper is the one basically hobbling in one foot in the economy anyway, and he is just gonna get hurt with this Nexus going down. Beautiful lock on there, using the ability to get some damage done. And at the same time, that's a drop there. Dead Trooper is dead in the water, and he doesn't know it yet because Supermalls is making sure that everything he has is getting torn apart by the rifle fire. Here we go though, finally. The Colossus is trying to get in position, but that was what the medevac is all about. Flies on the way, gets out of dodge. Advantage again, even more so for Sneezy Dwarf and Supermalls. Now they can push on forward to expand even more and more. And I like the respect that Supermalls and Sneezy Dwarf are really giving their opponent. They're not doing the same thing that Rhoskallian and Dead Trooper have done all throughout the series and is overextend. They are just basically looking to make sure that everything is going to be a-okay here. And they will have the armor to do so. One Immortal to the front line. Again, if this goes down, that's going to be basically the DPS gone. And already lock on against the Stalkers. They can't really do anything in this regard. And even more value right now. Surgical Strike's absolutely huge. And do you think that Sneezy Dwarf and Supermalls can actually overrun the opposition, or is this the right call?
I think it's the right call. I mean, looking at the Protoss team right here, I think they're just doing the same mistakes that they've been doing in the past previous games.
Yeah, it really seems like it's just deja vu all over again. Nexus point will go down, and Dead Trooper doesn't have money anymore. He doesn't have money for the Nexus, he can't get any economy, and Rhoskallian is basically forced to fend for himself. This has to be game set match very
fragile
soon.
that Tempest is. I mean, that Colossus is.
Oh yeah, that just does nothing. Dead Trooper even revealed, and the Protoss Armada know that they are basically dead in the water here. Sneezy Dwarf has shown the might of the mech. It's time to go for the push. One last fight perhaps between Rhoskallian and Sneezy Dwarf, for old time's sake maybe. And here we go again. Superballs right now bringing in the Thunder. Defending zones set up immediately. And the liberation is upon us. This is the Protoss running on and gets met by the Bio and the Mech. This is just yin and yang working together yet again. And the dual beat here in the junior bracket. Gonna be coming to a close very, very soon. Because that is gonna be Rhoskallian leaving the game. That's just basically GG. Well played the Superballs as well as Sneezy Dwarf. They will take the grand prize of 1,000 pesos here in the junior bracket. And well played by our two Terran players. Victory to Supermalls and Sneezy Dwarf, and we are done with the junior bracket. Well played, well played, well played for our Terrans, and I just have
Mm-hmm.
to commend every little thing that they did there. Their macro on points, their versatility on point, their mixtures on point, and absolute kudos truly to them to get that victory here in the dual meets. Looking at those map results real quick, well, got Emerald City and Rhoskallian High Volatility all won out by the Terrans. One victory there for the Protoss on Dusty Gorge, but overall Sneezy Warp and Supermo showing that they just really have it in them to take this victory. Absolutely. Well played there. And we are just checking on the admins of if there's anything gonna be going on into the future. If we're gonna do one more thing into next, and congratulations to Team Lethality for their victory. They are the champions here in the SCPH dual meets. And yeah, are we gonna do an interview or something, Mr. Mizzle? Is that gonna happen for today? Like what's going to be going on. They are the champions, a 3-1 victory here in the finals, and they just tore apart so much of this bracket. 2-1 victory against Feeling Air Frogs, at 2-0 against Happy, at 3-1 there against Leaders Council. It was good effort overall, but that is game, set, and match there. Big thank you to our sponsors again, ROG Internet Cafe, for helping things out, bringing in more and more of that prize pool to just add a little more to our pot and give these players really something to play for into the SCPH dual meets. 1,000 pesos overall to our duo, and we also have like what 500, which is basically 500 for each side. And let's move on to the Gen Chat actually, and we'll see if we're gonna be able to get an interview between either Sneezevar or Supermolls. Just a little bit of questions there, and then so we'll be right back, ladies and gents. We'll see if it's gonna actually happen. And this is the SCPH duel. Congratulations, already to Team Lethality between Sneezy Dwarf as well as Supermolls for that win. So hello guys and welcome back, and we got Sneezy Dwarf here for the interview. So congratulations Sneezy Dwarf,
So,
you are able to take the victory there, be the champions of the junior bracket. And what can you say about your victory and to the dual meet?
it was awesome because we only did mech, and they they keep making colossus. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I feel like sometimes you guys were baiting them honestly to you're looking to play in the bio, but then you turn it into the Thors, or you transition, or you were just like, I'm going Thors anyway, and you're able to get so many bases up and running. So I do want to ask these dwarf, what makes you kind of above everyone else in terms of your macro? Were you focusing on it? Is it part of your game plan where you go macro and Supermalls does all the other antics, or that like is it just how you play in the first place?
yeah. Basically, I just a moved the Thor army because there was no tanks at all. There was like one or two tanks. So basically, I just a moved it because there's so many Thors, man, and
Yeah,
Hellbats. So yeah, I focused mostly on macro because of that.
yeah. We saw you're always in 200 200. It's ridiculous. And is that Supermalls? Hello. Oh, I can
Hello.
hear myself. Oh,
Hi. Hi
I
everyone.
let me up you up. So Supermalls, congratulations too. So I want to ask both of you, how much do you guys practice for this thing?
Actually, we practice more often
Yeah,
due to work.
we did like
Due to so much work.
played 5 games before.
Oh, that's some good shit, guys. There's like you was like, oh, chemistry is on point. And did you guys like have plans or pocket strats that you guys were able to come up in those 5 games, or was it just like, this is how I play, you play, and let's just figure it out along the way?
Yeah, we talked about it, but we just depended our strat on what we scouted.
Yeah, it really goes to show. The scouting information is really good. How about you, Supermalls?
For me, actually, I really like to harass. So, Sneezy was focused on
Macro.
macro,
Mm-hmm.
and me, I'm doing something totally that can distract their focus, building something or that can counter our tactics.
Yeah, it's true. It seems like you guys just are so in tune with the other. So I want to ask, like, what what do you think you could do to help each other in terms of upping your 1v1 game? Would you guys be able to give tips to one another or anything like that?
Yeah, maybe improve our multitask
Hmm.
because I really suck at that.
How about you, Supermalls?
I think for me, maybe for the next coming games or whatsoever na friendly games, maybe we can uh, focus on more strategic game talaga.
Yeah, it seems like
Kasi this
tactics.
game talaga medyo may parang rush gawa ng may work na rin, parang bira na rin mag-practice. So
Mm-mm.
talagang
Yeah,
for
yeah,
fun
yeah.
talaga ang ginawa
Totally.
namin.
Totally understandable, especially with everything's going on. But hey, guys, congratulations! And I just want to
Thank you.
say thank you
Thank-
guys for giving the 2v2 a chance. Bizzle, how about you? Do you have any questions for R2?
Um, just my observation. Hi guys, by the way.
Hey,
Quick observation is that you always leave the Protoss you always leave their proxy pilot. Maybe you can always scout on that. So if for example, like what happened to Super Malls, your gold mine, they kept on summoning a lot of zealots there. So it's probably a proxy pylon. So you should watch out for this in the next tournaments. That's it.
Oh yeah, there was a fun part where there's a proxy pilot. You guys saw it already. It's like, we're not gonna deal with it. It's okay. It's fine. No worries.
uh, I thought they would waste more troops in summoning, warping in units in that pylon, and I'm going to kill it with my Reapers, but uh, didn't work out. So
Oh, yeah, it's like
I should have
Probably
killed that
Actually,
pylon.
actually
Mhm.
the second game, I think talagang pinagandaan nila eh.
Yeah, they had a
They were
Yeah,
really good
just
defense.
doing shield battery agad eh. Kaya talagang medyo
yeah,
na-surprise din
I
kami.
saw that too.
Yeah, the 2 HP on that Stalker. You guys got one more shot. Like, if we're talking about it, if you guys were able to concave your Reapers a little more, then it would have been better. But it was so close. It was so close. The shield battery, you see how quick it gets you shields. It's ridiculous. Man, I guess they got a good scout on your
Yeah,
Reaper rush
and
last
didn't
time. So
we didn't even kill any probes, so
yeah, it
that
happens.
rush
It
totally
happens. It
failed.
happens. But it seems like the macro long 200 game suits you guys a little better, especially with Sneezy Dwarf bringing the Thors and Super Malls going for the drops and the Liberators. So a really well
Yeah,
oiled system. So congratulations to you guys. And before we
Thank you,
go,
thank you.
thank you.
I just want to give you guys the floor. Any shout outs that each of you want to do? Let's start things off with Sneezy Dwarf.
Uh, no shoutouts.
Oh, I got Super Malls.
Actually, for me, I would like to thank Michelle, tsaka of course Dax for
Oh,
organizing these events.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Talagang ano maganda kasi every month actually not every month, parang every twice a month. So, parang yung mga player natin lalong dumadagdag. So anything, parang
Yeah,
pwede naman kami
I
sumuport.
noticed that too.
Talagang ready naman kami every time. Just let us know lang kung anong pwede namin itulong para at least lalong lumaki yung community.
yeah, it's really
So
appreciated,
thank you, thank
honestly.
you.
You guys participating and you guys contributing was a really big contribution stuff. The fact that you guys play in our things, it makes it a lot better. And especially when you guys bring us like the best games that we can get all the day, that is super appreciated. And congratulations to you two, Super Malls, Stacey Dwarf. Thank you
Yeah, thank you.
for
Thanks.
your time and
Congrats din sa inyo.
congratulations on the victory.
Very success yung ano yung event natin.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see also tomorrow because it's gonna be the seniors bracket. But yes, you guys may go as I will close
Good
out
luck, good luck.
our nights. Yeah, thank you guys.
Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
G, bro.
You bro, GG's. Give me a sec, guys. I have to hop on to the other side. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be the end of that. So apparently we got both Super Malls and Caesar on the interview, and we'll see if we can do that again for tomorrow. But this has been the SCPH Double Meet. I know this is the most popular thing, but you should give it a chance. And there have been some good games, especially on the finals. Not gonna lie, that finals actually worth the watch. So kudos to all our players there in the grand finals, all our players overall in the bracket. And I can't wait for tomorrow because that is going to be the higher Arcanauts. It's going to be seniors bracket right there, right then. Diamond Masters and Grandmasters all facing off against one another in 2v2 action. And if I remember correctly, we are going to have 9 teams for that one. So a similar system right here, right now, around the same length of broadcast, but a little quicker in terms of that downtime. Because experience is best teacher, and these guys are really, really experienced into the game. But 2v2, as we've seen, completely different beast. And you guys giving a shot, giving a chance, and going for our games is really all that matters to us. Thank you guys for tuning on and thank you guys for coming. Big shout outs to our sponsors, ROG Internet Cafe, for all of their contributions, especially the headsets for tomorrow. You guys can check them out at facebook.com/teamrog or rog.ph to check out their stuff. And of course, this has been brought to you guys by me and Mr. DLS Mizzle. If you need your graphic designs doing or you need everything else kind of professional, you can check out DLSL Mizzle. He is just Mr. Mizzle has been so dedicated to the StarCraft scene, even more so than I am, so congratulations to them, kudos to him, and we are going to be looking to do more and more for you guys. But this has been me, Dax, from twitch.tv/DaxPH. If you want to check me out more, it's facebook.com/DaxCast, and if you want to support the stream, just hit that follow and that sub if you can actually afford it. But hey, it has been a fun time. I'll see you guys at the same time tomorrow at 2 p.m. to start things off on the other bracket, the seniors bracket, which is going to be even more exciting than this one. Stay tuned, stick around. See you guys on the same time, but on a different date. Sunday, 2 p.m. GMT plus 8. This has been the SCPH Dual Meet Day number 1, and we will be signing off for now.